everyone. This is Jeff Garrison, and I will be inquiring about his teaching English as a second language. First, I would like to ask, where did you teach?
So I was teaching English in Japan.
Okay, for how long were you there?
I taught for about 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not know it was that long, yeah.
It's a long time.
So did you know Japanese before you went?
No, I studied for about a month, maybe 2 months before. I just studied basic writing and
basic Japanese
some basic
writing?
language.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
When I got there, I learned that I did not know Japanese at all.
Okay.
None of it helped.
Oh, okay.
Eventually.
Right. When you're immersed in a culture, you know.
Yes. You will learn language there.
Okay. Did you teach prior to teaching in Japan?
Actually, no, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not teach when I was in America. I was a summer camp counselor. So that was kind of part of the way I segued into that. But
about like your upper level students. So like, you know, how did you kind of get through the whole concept of like sentence structure and like verb agreements?
That's an interesting. With my work, I'll be honest, I wasn't. It was never that specific. Like, they had specific grammar classes that they took with Japanese teachers. And what that did, the good part about that is they had someone who understood both languages, who could explain those kind of like the nitty-gritty stuff. So, granted, people would come and ask me all kinds of questions.
Right, yeah. But they had like a Japanese teacher
who would do that,
who taught them the main grammar. Yeah. Did you find yourself like agreeing a lot with what they
typically?
Okay.
Typically, they would ask for explanations for things, and this is what you find with ESL, is that you will find yourself explaining things that you didn't realize you need to explain. And now that I've been out of it for a while, I don't even remember an example. But it's a lot of things that just like he was going, they were going.
Yeah.
When we do it, we just think like it's natural for us, but you have to explain if it's more than one person, it's what.
Yeah.
So, you know, okay, a lot of the questions I got were much more difficult than that. But it was different.
Okay. Yeah.
What I would do for a lot of grammar, because I would explain basic grammar. And again, you want to do some kind of, typically a visual. So if it's writing a sentence like you and I, however that works. I taught English. If you want to explain like something like that, like you want to put one word in maybe parentheses.
Oh, okay.
And then have like with you and I, whatever that context is that comes after, so that they can understand that like that's how you tell. Because if I'm going to write this sentence one way, I want to treat it the same as this.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense. A lot of times they would try to practice.
Right.
And that was kind of the key was we would encourage people, you know, at home, please practice this language. Like what we would teach in a lesson was hopefully useful language. So like, you know, where is the vocabulary remote or whatever? Where is the Game Boy? Like, it's in the dining room or something. So they could practice that at home. Where is this? So she often would talk to me in English outside of class, which was kind of unique for some kids. A lot of kids, they would just kind of like high five and all right, well, I'm gonna go talk to my friends in Japanese.
Yeah.
But
away from this language.
Yeah.
So, do you feel that like the English that was taught over in Japan, do you feel like you were kind of pinpointing more on certain things versus like if you were to teach a class in English in America?
Yes. I mean, especially for my situation, we were teaching conversation,
Right.
Which is very, very different from discourse. So most of my things were very specific in theme. I mean, especially with younger kids, but even my graduate student, you know, a session would be about shopping, or it's mostly with the view of interacting but not integrating into an English-speaking society. If that, you know,
That kind of makes sense.
yeah, because it's so highly encouraged over there. They want people to learn conversation so they can
Like social conversation.
yeah, social conversation
Right.
is one of the big things now, because so many people in Japan study English on a grammatical level, and on a grammatical level. It's institutionalized, like from, I think they start in junior high school.
Oh, okay.
So around 11 or 12 years old, they'll start studying, but they're speaking. Unless they go to a conversation school, they don't get much practice.
Oh, okay.
So there's a huge emphasis on grammar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is why I didn't teach it that much.
So with what's being taught over in Japan, as far as like American culture, as far as like speaking, you know, I guess speaking format goes, like, are we, it sounds funny, but like, are we setting them up for survival here? Or are we pretty much like giving them, because I know like when I took Spanish courses, you know, and learning Spanish as a second language, you know, you'd go to the Mexican restaurant and order food in Spanish, you know, or you would have practical conversation, social conversation, but it wasn't really, you know, once you got to the country, it was completely different.
Well, yes. We're setting them up about the same as almost any program does. Like that Spanish story. It's well, they.
You said that it's kind of the institute's issue. They're setting themselves up that way.
Yeah. Because the focus is so grammatical and so fixed on getting it right.
Right.
And of course, that's a Japanese cultural thing in itself. Is repetition, and you know, it's good to study grammar and to know what you're doing, but the practical use doesn't get used very much.
Right.
And it's mostly because it's mostly Japanese people over there. There aren't many English-speaking foreigners. There are, you know, if you look at the numbers, there's a large number, but it's a very homogenous culture. So,
do you feel that, you know, as an undergraduate or any type of inter-composition classes, do you feel like they are, or they have catered to any type of ESL student?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So,
like, if you're thinking back, like, during, like, intro, you know, English, you know, like, do you think one of your Japanese students would have survived a class like that?
No,
you know, or that
not.
it even thought to even ask, you know, if English was their second language?
The issue is, I mean, first, I skipped my, like, composition.
Yeah, I
had the AP credit or whatever.
Yeah, and you just kind of bypass it.
But with the system that I've seen, there's no way. And most Japanese students would be in a remedial composition class simply because they don't know the language as fluently as we do.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with their compositional skill. It's usually their compositional skill is quite good.
Right.
in their own language, especially.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, it's just the fact that they don't know as much English and certain grammar points, and so yeah, they're gonna be in remedial most of the time. No matter what you do. So.
And they'd be accepting of that, though, right? Like they wouldn't consider it like
No, they would not consider it a problem. Whereas we kind of, I mean, even I would, if I was in a remedial class, I would be like, why the hell am I here?
Yeah.
Mathematics I can understand, but it's different. But yeah, much like, I mean, if you took the average foreigner and put them in a composition class in Japan, they would probably also be like, well, I mean, this is about all I can handle. So
Okay, so to get kind of nerdy on you, did you ever like teach essays and like paragraph forms and stuff over there?
Actually,
like,
I did.
Is it the same as ours, or like?
Well, what I taught was for a standardized test. So it was the basic introduction, 3 paragraphs, and conclusion. Yeah. So it was the same thing that we learned in high school. Yeah. And she already knew it. She was just having trouble with transitions and with the paragraph form.
Oh wow.
So once she got that, she passed the TOEFL. And
see, but now is that because the essay is in U.S. format? Like, do they do the same type of paragraph for like Japanese papers, you know, or?
And that's a great question, because I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty widely accepted. I don't know if it's the same in paragraph form, or if they just kind of like.
I don't know if it was like it was like a
the
block kind of thing, or if they have like the same type of, you have to indent in the front paragraph, and then you have to, like if the same rules apply, like we have the MLA, like do they have
writing
similar?
they're writing in kanji.
Right.
I think a lot of their paradigms are the same. I think they have the same general structure in their essays, and for their format actually. But it would be interesting to see. I kind of wish I had been able to teach in like a public school, instead of just a private like conversation school. But that's what I saw. So good.
Oh, low battery. Okay.
Damn.
So with that, we're gonna have to conclude. But thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much for talking with me, and look forward to more conversations about ESL and Japan and America. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope that helped at all.